Okay, good morning students. This is my 10th class and like the previous class, in this class also we will be solving a numerical problem from the first law of thermodynamics for an open system, or precisely from the steady flow energy equation. In the last class we solved a problem where certain things were given to you for a blower. Blower was the device across which the steady flow was taking place. Today we will take up another device, that is a compressor. So this is the problem. So as we proceeded in the last class while solving the problem, today also we will proceed in the same manner. So what is the first step? First step, we will read the problem, try to understand what it is. We will identify the device, then identify different terms like velocity term, like the z, the height from the datum, like the internal energy or enthalpy, like the power consumed or power delivered. So all these things we will, or heat transfer taking place during the process. We will try to search within the problem whether these things are, the quantitative information about these things are given or not. After that we will make a list of all given data and then write the full steady flow energy equation. While writing the full steady flow energy equation, we will again take a decision of whether to take a time based equation or a mass based equation. We have to write the equation in the time based format or the mass based format. Once we write the equation, full equation, then we can modify the equation by the conditions given in the problem. Then we will come up with a abridged equation, and in that equation we will put the numerical value or given values with their proper sign and unit. And all through we have to check that at every stage of the mathematical process the units of each term have to be the same. Alright. So the problem goes like this. Let me read the problem. Air flows. So what is the fluid here? Air. Air is the fluid. And for air, certain things you need to know. For air, the gamma value is 1.4. For air, the Cp value is 1.005. The Cv value is 0.718 kilojoules per kg K. Air is considered to be a diatomic gas. Although air is not a gas, air is a mixture of gases. But since air is a mixture of oxygen and nitrogen, and both are mostly oxygen and nitrogen, and both are diatomic, so we consider air to be a diatomic gas while solving a thermodynamic problem. And then molecular weight of air is considered to be 29, 28 for nitrogen and 32 for oxygen. By taking their relative proportions in the mixture of gases, we take 29 as the molecular weight of air. So these are few things that you need to know. Air is a compressible substance. It does not have a fixed density. Its density varies from different temperature pressure conditions to different temperature pressure conditions. So all these things we are supposed to know before we solve a problem. So the problem goes like this. Air flows steadily. That means it is a steady flow problem. Air flows steadily at the rate of 0.5 kg per second. So what is given to you? The mass flow rate is given to you. So mass flow rate is one thing that is given to you through a compressor. What is the device that is there in the problem for which you are going to solve the problem? It is a compressor. Now what does a compressor do? What is the function of a compressor? The function of a compressor is to, as the name implies, is to compress the fluid put into it. That means it draws the fluid. For an air compressor, air is the fluid. It draws a gas, and compressor is a term which is applicable or which is used for increasing the pressure of a gas, not that of a liquid. When the fluid is a liquid, we call it a pump. When the fluid is a gas, we call the device a compressor. So these are basic things you need to know. Make a note of it, that compressor compresses the gas by raising its pressure and reducing its volume. That is what the compressor does. So it is a pressure boosting device. It is a device in which the pressure of the gas is increased, and in this present problem the gas is air. Alright. So air flows steadily at the rate of 0.5 kg per second, mass flow rate is 0.5 kg per second through a compressor entering at, that means if you take a control volume or a fixed region in space with boundary, then air is entering at a velocity of 7 meter per second. We will make a list of all these things after this. So V1 is 7 meter per second, and what is the pressure of inlet air? 100 kilopascal. 100 kilopascal. Kilopascal means kilo Newton per meter square. That is the pressure of air with which it enters the compressor. So what will be the pressure of air at the time of coming out of the compressor? Must be higher than that or lower than that. It is a compressor, so exit air pressure will be higher than that. So what is that higher pressure? Let us see. So entering at 7 meter per second velocity, 100 kilopascal pressure and 0.19 meter cube per kg. Meter cube is volume, meter cube per kg is specific volume. That means per kg of air, the volume of per kg of air, the volume is 0.19 meter cube. Where? At the entry. And air being a compressible substance, it's when the pressure will change, its volume also will change. So at the exit, the volume and the pressure values are expected to be different from 100 kilopascal and 0.19 meter cube. Common sense. Clear? What else is asked? The air is leaving the compressor at 5 meter per second. So here it was 7 meter per second. Now it is 5 meter per second and 700 kilopascal. That means P1 is 100 kilopascal, P2 is 700 kilopascal. Then specific volumes are 0.19 meter cube and 0.95 meter cube. So two volume value and so the internal energy of the air. So you are given the pressure at the inlet, pressure at the outlet, specific volume at the inlet, specific volume at the outlet. You are given the velocity at the inlet and velocity at the outlet. You are also given one information regarding the internal energy. What is that? The internal energy of the air leaving. That means internal energy at the exit is 90 kilojoules per kg greater than that of air at the entry. That means by the time air passes through the compressor, its internal energy is increasing by an amount 90 kilojoules per kg. And since the unit is kilojoules per kg, you have to understand that it is not internal energy, it is specific internal energy. So total internal energy will be only when you multiply the mass term with it. Now with this information, and one more information is there. Cooling water in the compressor jacket. Cooling water in the compressor jacket. That means that this is the compressor. Now a compressor is surrounded by a jacket. If you see a industrial compressor, you will find that the compressor is surrounded by a jacket, because when you are compressing an air and increasing its pressure, the temperature also will rise. When the temperature will rise, then what will happen? The heat will be generated as a result of molecular collision, and that heat needs to be removed from the compressor, otherwise there will be metallurgical deformation of the shape of the compressor. So it is surrounded by a water jacket which takes the air out. So the heat that is rejected out of the compressor to the cooling water is how much? 58 kilowatt. That means every second 58 kilojoules of heat is removed from the compressor to the cooling water. That means it is heat removed, not heat added. It is removed. For the cooling water it is heat added, but for the compressor, which is the system for us, it is heat rejected. So we are given this much of information about the entry condition, about the exit condition, and also about the heat transfer that is taking place. And what is asked? What you need to find out here? You have to find the power consumed by the compressor. That means this compressor, remember that compressor is a power consuming device, like the blower we did yesterday or in the last class. So compressor is a power consuming device, blower is a power consuming device, fan is a power consuming device, but turbine is a power giving device, pump is a power consuming device. So you have to remember certain things where the power is consumed and where the power is delivered by the device. So compressor is something which, where you have to do work on the gas in order to compress it. Okay, even in a bicycle pump. So what you are doing, that is a form of compressor, that is a hand compressor. That is a reciprocating hand compressor. There you are doing like this. That means who is getting tired? The pump is getting tired or you are getting tired? You are getting tired because you are doing the work. So work is done by you. But it is for the system, it is negative because it is work done on the system by you. Okay, so work is done on the gas in a cycle pump. So similarly here, various things are given. You have to find out the work. Power means work per unit time. So if the specific work is obtained, then multiply it with m dot, you will get the power. So power consumed by the compressor is something that you need to find out. So with this information, we will move on to solving the problem. So what is the first thing? Please recall, the first thing is we will draw a schematic diagram where we will show the compressor as a fixed region in space with a boundary, and we will show all the interactions there. We will show the flow direction, we will indicate the inlet and outlet locations, and after that we will make a list of given information. Alright, so this is a compressor. This is schematic diagram, and schematic means it should be symbolic and it should be thermodynamically correct. Once again I am telling that this diagram which you are drawing is that of a compressor or representing a compressor, but remember that it did not look like a compressor. Okay, so you are not going to give a pictorial view of compressor, you are giving a schematic or symbolic view of compressor, and this is what it is. You need not use pencil and the drawing need not look very beautiful, but it should be thermodynamically correct. Thermodynamically correct means you draw like this, indicate the inlet condition and outlet condition, 1 1 and 2 2. 1 represents the entry and 2 represents the exit. Okay, this direction of flow must be given, because otherwise one cannot know whether air is flowing from this side to this side or this side to this side. That means whether 1 is entry and 2 is exit, or the reverse, 2 is entry and 1 is exit. Alright, so this is how you have to do. You write C here to indicate that this is a compressor. Alright, and then you make the list of given information. So what are given? Velocity capital V at 1 is given 7 meter per second. V2 is 5 meter per second. Similarly, the inlet pressure of air is 100 kilopascal and the exit pressure is 700 kilopascal. What else is given? The specific volume V1, small v, make a distinction between these two. This is 0.95 meter cube per kg, and this is at the outlet it is 0.19 meter cube per kg. This is the specific volume at the entry, this is the specific volume at the exit of the compressor of air. What else? Heat transfer Q dot is 58 kilowatt. But as I explained, this 58 kilojoules of heat per second is where it is going? It is going to the cooling water from the compressor. So it is, for us, compressor is the center of the attention. So for the compressor it is minus. So this is the heat generated in the compressor and going to the cooling water. So there will be a minus sign here. So Q is minus 58 kilowatt. What else is known to you? You are also given with the information that the internal energy of exit air, that is U2, is the internal energy of the inlet air plus 90. That means the exit internal energy is greater than the inlet internal energy by an amount 90 kilojoules per kg. So which one is bigger? U2 is bigger than B1 than U1 by how much? By 90 kg per kilojoules per kg. So U1 plus, so I am removing this one, U1 plus 90 kilojoules per kg, and mass flow rate is how much? Mass flow rate is 0.5 kg per second. So these are the information. You can mark here one thing, that with each term, with each number, I have written the units attached to it. Velocity will be meter per second, pressure will be in kilopascal, specific volume will be meter cube per kg, not just a number. I am writing 0.95 meter cube per kg, like that. Q dot is the heat transfer out, is 58 minus 58 kilowatt, and this is kilojoules per kg, and this is kg per second. So now I am equipped with all the given information that are provided to me. Okay, so we are now having all the information listed like this for this particular problem. The difference, although the absolute values of U1 and U2 are not known to us, we know the difference between U1 and U2. So now it is U2 minus U1 is 90 kilojoules per kg, because the exit internal energy or exit specific internal energy of the air is 90 kilojoules per kg more than that of the entry internal energy. Now m dot is this, and one more thing about the potential energy term. The problem is silent. The statement of the problem is silent. So we have to assume that this is a horizontal compressor where the Z value for inlet and Z value for outlet both are same. So I have taken Z1 is equal to Z2. So with this information we will now go to the actual equation which will give us the final solution. Now question is, which equation is to be used? The steady flow energy equation, which is based on per unit time, or the energy equation based per unit mass? Which one to be used? Remember one thing, when you are going through the statement of the problem, if you are getting terms like kilowatt, kg per second, like that, kg per second means a time factor is there, kilowatt means kilojoules per second, so another time factor is there. So already you are given the quantities with a time unit. Okay, time is already there. So in such situation you have to, and mass flow rate is also given. So in such situation you have to take the steady flow energy equation based per unit time. So we will write the full equation, and our full equation is normally m dot h1 plus m dot b1 square by 2 and so on. But here in place of h1 we are writing u1 plus p1 b1, because we are not given the value of h1, we are given the value of u1 and p1 b1. So we are writing m dot u1 plus m dot p1 b1 plus m dot b1 square by 2. Again remember that this v and this v are two different v. This small v is specific volume which is used for the flow energy term, and the capital V is the velocity which is used for the kinetic energy term, and then m dot g z1 plus q dot, and similarly these are in the outlet. The q dot will be in the left hand side and w dot will be in the right hand side, and Another thing, since Z1 is equal to Z2, or at least we are assuming Z1 to be equal to Z2, so m dot g Z1 and m dot g Z2, these two terms from the respective sides, left hand side and right hand side, are getting cancelled. So this equation, which initially contained 10 terms, now has reduced to 8 terms. And in place of m dot small q, I am writing capital Q dot. In place of m dot small w, I am writing capital W dot. Now, so this is the equation. Now in this equation, as it is true for any other steady fluid energy problems, everything will be given to you except one unknown. So what is the unknown here? What is to be found out? You have to find out the W dot, power consumed by the compression. So W dot is what we are, the value of W dot is what we are looking for. This W dot, therefore take the W dot to that side. So W dot will be equal to, or let the W dot will be here, W dot will be equal to m dot u1 minus m dot u2. So you have m dot u1 minus u2 here. M dot p1 v1 minus m dot p2 v2. So m dot p1 v1 minus p2 v2. Then m dot b1 square by b2 square, and then you have your q dot. Now see, if you look at the units of each term, then here m dot is in kilojoules per, m dot is in kg per second, and u1 u2 are in kilojoules per, so kg per second, and this is kilojoules per kg. So what you get? You get kilojoules per second. Similarly here, kg per second, kilonewton per meter square, and meter cube per kg. So you get here kilojoules per second. Here also it will be in kilowatt, so it will be in kilojoules per second. Only this term is in joules per second. If you put, this is kg per second and meter square per second square, if you put it like this, then kg meter per second square is Newton, Newton meter is joule, joule per second is joules per second. So in order to express it in kilojoules per second, like we did in the last class, here also you have to multiply it by 1000. So it is m dot b1 square minus b2 square by 2000. If you do this, then every term now has the same unit, kilowatt, 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 kilowatt. Alright. Mark one thing. Till now, I have not used the actual values of the terms. Nowhere I have written, I have not written 7 in here. I have not written 5 meter per second here. I have not written minus 58 here. Till now I am only using the notations. So I went on simplifying the equations as much as possible, and now I have come up with a final equation in terms of the notations m dot u1, u2, p1, q, like that. So I have come up with the final expression with the notations only, and this is here where I will start putting the values. That means in the next step I will put 0.5 in place of m dot. u1 minus u2 is how much? Although I do not know the value of u1 and u2 separately, but I know what is u1 minus u2. u1 minus u2 will be minus 90 kilojoules per kg. So here I will write minus 90. Here I will write 0.5. Then p1, b1 are known to me. In place of p1 I will write 100, and b1 I will write 0.95. Here I will write 700 and 0.19. Here I will write 0.5, 7, 5, 7 square minus 5 square. And here in place of q dot, like I have to replace this bracketed term by what? I am not tampering with this sign. This plus, let it be there. But plus what? Plus q dot. In place of q dot, I am writing minus 58. Minus 58. And if so every term is in kilowatt. So finally whatever I will get, I will be getting in kilowatt. So if you do this arithmetic exercise, then you will get minus 122 kilowatt approximately. So the final answer is the power consumed by the compressor will be 122 kilowatt. 122 kilowatt. And this minus sign is automatically coming as a result of this mathematical calculation. You are not putting this minus sign. You are not putting this minus sign. The result will automatically come minus, and this minus denotes that in compressor work is to be done on the gas and work is not delivered by the compressor. The compressor rather consumes work, demands work, takes work rather than giving work. So this is how you solve problems on steady flow energy equation applied to different devices. In the first problem we solved it for a blower. In the second problem we solved it for a compressor. Incidentally, both the blower and compressor both are power consuming devices. Maybe in the next class we will solve a problem on turbine, which is a power giving device, power producing or delivering device, where you will find that the W dot will be in positive. W dot, because it is a power giving device, a turbine is a power giving device, so W dot will be in positive. And like this problem, all other things for the turbine also will be known to you, and you have to find out the only unknown somewhere which is missing, which is not given to you in the statement of the problem. Similarly, we can solve problems on nozzles, diffusers, and as and when we will solve a problem on a particular device, we will get to know what is the function of the device and whether it is a power consuming or power delivering device, whether it is a insulated device or a uninsulated, non-insulated device. So all these things will come up during the course of our discussion. So this is all about problem solving on steady flow energy equation. This much for today as far as the problems are concerned and first law of thermodynamics for flow process are concerned. Next class I will either solve a problem, turbine problem involving this steady flow energy equation, or I will explain you about the limitations of first law and how these limitations necessitated the coming up of another law called second law. So, and during the course of discussion on second law, we will be knowing about some very important concepts like reversible process, reversibility, irreversibility, causes of irreversibility, entropy, and refrigerator, a heat pump, and so on. So those classes are going to be very interesting. So keep attending my class and keep solving similar problems which will be of use to you in while you write your final examinations. This much for today. Thank you.